we get into this video, I just wanted to say a really quick thank you for all the support on the first one. I literally just made it for fun, screen recorded, and just talked to you guys for 25 minutes. And the people who appreciated it and actually found some value out of it, shout out to you guys, absolute legends. And yeah, I've tried to put a little bit of actual video editing practice into this video. Nothing too crazy because I'm not really in the mood to go like full try hard. But I busted out the DaVinci Resolve for the video, just to clear up and make the video tips a little bit more seamless, because otherwise it would just be a lot of fast traveling from point to point while I'm explaining things. So yeah, just want to clear that up for you guys, why you see a little bit more of a higher quality video, quote unquote. All right, enjoy the video. What's up, guys? Stanya West here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is going to be my first video of Assassin's Creed Odyssey's advanced tips and tricks. Quick shout out to everyone who watched my previous first video, much appreciated. But since AC Odyssey is so big, and I just finished 100%ing it, I thought now would be a great time to go through the game and give you some good tips and tricks to make the most out of it. I'll be breaking it down into 3 videos. Your first one's going to be your basic tips, quote unquote. Essentially just quality of life and maybe some additional things that I think are just handy to know as you're playing the game. Your second video will be about ship and human combat, including stealth tips. So, be a better fighter, be a better assassin, and actually, feel like a badass when you're playing the game. And your last video will be about your RPG mechanics and the build tips to make the most out of your weapons and armor and your abilities. A lot to talk about in that video, so it deserves its own one. So hold out for that one, guys. I'll get to it. But first, we're just going to talk about your main things. Now, I wanted to start off with a bit of a controversial opinion, but I do think it's important to note. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is not a quote-unquote Assassin's Creed game, in my opinion. If you played the older games, you'll understand what I mean. There's no Assassins v Templars, there's no Hidden Blade, there's no amazing parkour in cities, there's no direct assassination missions to get rid of people. Also, the older Assassin's Creed games are quite serious and not very humorous. Those are all things that Assassin's Creed Odyssey has. You use a mini spear to kill people. There's no parkour because there's no big enough city/towns to do so. You kill people, you don't assassinate them. It really should just be called Ubisoft Presents Ancient Greece Simulator. But that's okay. If you don't treat the game like an AC game, like the Ezio trilogy or Black Flag or AC1 or AC3, you should still have fun in the game. You just have to treat it like it's not an Assassin's Creed game. Yes, it has the label, but don't treat it as such. The second controversial opinion that I have for this game is the very common complaint that this game is a bloat fest, i.e., too much. It's a long game. I will definitely give the naysayers that. It's about 40 to 50 hours just for the main game to complete all the main missions. If you want 100% all locations to do all side quests and level up to 99 as I have, you're adding about 100 hours on top of that. So about 140 hours, which is what I did. And then again, I am, not to toot my own horn, but I'm very good at this game. So it'll probably be longer for other people. But that's the charm of this game, in my opinion. It's similar to like The Witcher 3, which is stupidly long, but embracing the bloat fest. Take your time, explore all the regions, do the side quests, smell the roses. You know what I mean? Just kind of like go through the motions and actually enjoy the process of unraveling this huge map. It is massive. Don't get me wrong. It's the biggest map ever created. And you can explore all of it too. It's not like Black Flag, which is massive, but there's only a few locations. All of the map is explorable in this game. Pretty damn incredible. Now, the other controversial tip, which I will die on this hill. At the start of the game, you will have two options, and I'll put them up on screen here. You get either Cassandra or Alexios to play as your main character. I will always say to newbies, play as Cassandra, or Cassandra, as they pronounce it. No offense to Alexios' voice actor, he just makes words sound weird. His enunciations with the Greek accent, a bit weird. Cassandra has way more emotional variety with her words, and they hit harder when she says them. You can tell when a sentence is supposed to be making her mad, she's mad. When she's sad, she's sad. When she's happy, she's happy. You can actually feel that emotional variety, whereas Alexios is way more like consistent and almost neutral, in my opinion. So that's not, in my professional opinion, the way to go. Unless you have to play Alexios because you like him more, fair enough, go for it. But for me, Cassandra all the way. It's a non-negotiable. Fourth tip. It pays to be merciful and nice in the dialogue options. I'll leave it at that to avoid story spoilers, but you will get physical advantages in the game from doing so. It can also make the game easier and less annoying in some parts of the main story. Of course, you play as you want. It's a choice-based game. First time it was ever done in an Assassin's Creed game was this game. I'll throw up an example of what that looks like if you only just started. But yes, there are choices in this game, and the choices do impact your story. So it's something to keep in mind. Play as you want, but being nice, being merciful, being honorable gets you more out of the game. So, at the beginning of the game, you'll be introduced to one of the, again, new mechanics of Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the mercenary system. So, a reminder that you are what's called a mystios, aka a mercenary. So you fight for money, you kill for money, you do quests for money, that's your job. There are other mercenaries in the world like yourself, and they're marked with little Spartan helmets, and you are more than welcome to kill them, to get their gear, you do whatever. Also, there's a wanted system in this game. If you cause too much public mischief, kill civilians, steal, kill leaders in public sight, you'll get a little red symbol down the bottom right hand corner there, and mercenaries will be auto locked onto your location, and they will try to hunt you down and claim the bounty on you. Mercenaries are a very helpful mechanic. As you can see here, there are tiers of mercenaries, and the further down they are, the crappier they are. But you will start down here. You will be down in this corner here at like tier 9, yeah. So essentially, as you move up tiers, you will get better perks, and these are permanent perks. So even if you don't kill mercenaries for a while, you don't go down tiers, you stay at the tier that you're currently at. So at tier 8, blacksmiths reduce their prices by 50%. Tier 6, reducing engraving services. Tier 4, ship upgrades are cheaper. Tier 3, upgrading services are cheaper. These are amazing. As such, it's really important, in my opinion, to hold off on doing most of those things that I mentioned before, like the upgrading the gear, buying gear, until you've reached the necessary tiers. Now, I'm not saying you have to go all the way up to tier S4 like I have. Not really that worth it, but getting to at least tier 3 is what I would recommend. And how do you move up the tiers? Easy. You kill the next person ahead of you. So essentially, if you start down here, you kill this person, you move up. You kill this person, you move up, and so on and so forth. Now, a really common misconception about this system is if you kill like the tier 1 person, for example, you move all the way from tier 5 to tier 1. That is incorrect. If you kill the tier 1 guy, good for you. That does not put you in tier 1. That will literally just move you up 1 in tier 5. So keep that in mind. It is a grind. It can be a grind, and these guys are not pushovers. They are beasts. So I almost always strongly suggest just giving them an assassination to take off most of their health and then fight them. Fighting them one-on-one, particularly on anything higher than like normal difficulty, it can be difficult. So Keep that in mind and use the mercenary system to your advantage to get massive discounts on things, but also don't do the things until you get them discounted, in my humble opinion. Okay, so the next tip I have is pretty self-explanatory, I would say. Get all the sync points in every location that you go to. It's pretty self-explanatory. This game is massive, and the travel distance without having sync points, it's too long, in my opinion. Like, if you didn't have a sync point between Macedonia and Malis, for example, like that's 1,000 meters by horse. Honestly, I just don't think that's worth your time. So always grab every sync point that you can. There's also another additional perk. So you get, just like Origins, just like Valhalla, you'll get your bird, in this case an eagle, Icaros, who will be able to mark things for you. They can mark animals, they can mark treasures, they can mark all manner of things. However, if you get more of the sync points, you can actually mark through rock and mountains. Like, I am marking enemies inside this cave even before I go into this cave, which I think's pretty awesome. You get a really good lay of the land. You can mark enemies before you even get in there, and those enemies will actually stay marked even as you go in. So you can literally see them as you walk in because you've already marked them. So that will definitely be extremely handy when you're clearing out caves or bandit camps or anything that's underground. And it also could even mark the ancient tombs as well. So all the treasure chests and stuff, even if they're complicated, you would be able to see them as well. So in addition to the sync points that you can get around the map as advertised in the green eagles, you've also got these ship docks that are dotted along the coastlines of all of the map. These are also fast travel points. So if you don't need to go inland and you're just going to a coastal town, just travel to a ship dock. It's the exact same, and it's a really convenient way of getting around the map. So another new mechanic that AC Odyssey added to the game is being able to climb almost anything on the entire map. So this is inclusive of mountains, cliffs, anything like that. Most trees, no, but there are certain parkour trees that you can use. But let's say, for example, if we're looking at this fort at the top of this mountain, you would think there's no way I can get up there without going through the front door. No, you can climb. And it's actually a really good way to provide alternative entries into things like forts, bandit camps, anywhere where getting an edge by going an alternative route to avoid a bunch of enemies being able to spot you is a really important thing. So take use of this mechanic, climb up mountains to try and get alternative ways into things, and clearing out these kind of objectives might become easier. All right, for my next tip, I'm going to show you the amazing advantages of no fall damage, which is something that you unlock at level 20. So let's say you've walked into a fort and you've got a bunch of people after me, and oh no, so sad, lots of people after you. As you can see, you got 3 guys after me. Oh no, oh so sad. But yeah, this is just an example. But as you can see, yep, we're running. Say hi to this Polemarch. We'll get him on us too. Hey, mate. But then look, perfect escape route. Done. Use that to your advantage, guys. Level 20 onwards, you can do that. You can jump off anything and not take fall damage. Anything, no matter how high it is, you will simply roll at the bottom. Use that to your advantage. This is the ultimate escape route. Just jump from mountains, jump from wherever you guys need. Jump off the top of buildings. They will lose you, and that will be the easiest way to escape lots of enemies, like in forts. Now, as I mentioned ship upgrades just before, I do want to talk about the ship in this game. I would recommend gradually upgrading it throughout the main story. You don't have to max it out, but you should have it at least 2/3 upgraded, because there are ship battles in this game and in the main story that can be quite difficult on anywhere higher than normal or above. I'm telling you right now, ship combat on nightmare difficulty is actually impossible. It's so insane. You need a maxed out ship for sure. But yeah, make sure that you upgrade your gear, your ship. It takes a ton of resources, I'm fully aware, and it takes ancient tablets that you have to get from the bandit camps and things like that, so a bit difficult, but you know, the address is your pride and joy. It's very similar to the jackdaw from Black Flag, where, you know, you spend a lot of time on it going to new places, so take care of it, get your good lieutenants, and, you know, enjoy the process of upgrading it. I'll explain more about ship combat in a future video. Alright, the next thing I'm going to show you guys is a little bit unorthodox and a bit funny, but hey, it could come in handy when you guys are actually clearing out some of these underwater objectives. You can shoot the sharks while treading water. At a certain depth, of course. If they're too deep, you won't be able to hit them. But you can certainly hit the ones closer to the surface. Another easy tip that I have is when you're clearing out leader houses or forts, you'll see objectives to burn war supplies. These war supplies are marked with a little purple symbol here. Now, what a lot of people will do is they will burn them, as you're expected to, but you can actually loot them before you burn them. So this is a really easy way to get tons of resources whilst you're completing objectives. And also try not to massacre the whole leader house just to prove a point for a video. But yeah, pretty handy way to get materials. Okay, the next tip's a bit of an odd one, but it is incredibly important. When you're exploring side locations, you might come across what is called an Enigmata Ostraka, which is like a little tablet. So what these tablets are is essentially they're little riddles. And, you know, essentially, if you solve said riddle, you will get drachmi, but most importantly, you will get engravings. Some of these engravings you can only get if you actually do the Ostrakas. Like, you don't have any other way of getting them. Some of the best ones, including crit chance at full health, you know, crit damage at full health, things like that, they are all unavailable to get until you unlock them with Ostrakas. So, my suggestion, boot up a YouTube guide, find them all, get them all done, and I promise you it'll be worth it when you're trying to build the best build possible in the game. Or whatever build style you like. The more engravings you have unlocked in these tabs here, the more freedom you have to actually make your preferred build. So another really good reminder is always go to the message boards whenever you go into a new location or just when you're running past one. Grab all the contracts, grab all the bounties, grab anything to do with that. So grab all these as you're going. You'll most likely achieve them as you play the game, naturally, particularly the contracts, as they don't have a time limit. So all of these kind of examples here. And they give you the most XP, as evidenced here with the gold XP symbol. Even more than most story missions. Okay, guys, and the final tip to cover today, it's not really a tip, but just like making sure you guys are aware of it. When you first come into this location here for Keys, early in the story, not going to spoil it, but early in the story, when you come into this place for the first time, you'll see this little light blue symbol on the map, and you'll obviously be curious as to what that is. You'll run down the jetty slash dock of Fokis, and you will see this gentleman. His name is Sargon. He'll talk to you about his amazing riches and how he will not deal in drachmi, he will deal in something called orichalcum. Orichalcum is that little blue symbol next to my drachmi amount up there. You can get orichalcum from quests, from doing weekly quests, and they give you orichalcum, or bounties on mercenaries that can give you orichalcum. You can also find random bits of orichalcum scattered around the map. I'm pretty sure there's a map online if you want to do that. But what you can do is you essentially can get like a weekly selection, which is renewed online every week. You can get these things here, or you can roll what's called an Olympian gift. Now, I don't know about you, but I would not spend 100 of my precious orichalcum on getting one item, or 80 for one item, when I can roll the dice for 20 orichalcum. You will be getting, if you do the weeklies, you get 80 orichalcum per week, which is 4 rolls of this rather than getting one item. And you're guaranteed at least one epic or legendary item, which is really good early game. And the gear that you get is always going to be at the level that you are. So if you're in need of an upgrade of armor or whatever, it'll be at the level that you are. So let's say, for example, I'll just do an example. You get a random piece of epic or legendary gear. In this case, I got a random piece of epic gear. That could be a really good also for someone who plays the assassin playstyle with poison. So yeah, I would recommend just ripping these for 20 orichalcum rather than getting the one thing for 100. Just purely because orichalcum is actually kind of hard to come by. And unless you're doing the weekly quests every week, which most of you probably won't, just something to keep in mind. So that'll be the end of the video, guys. As I said, this is only part 1. Part 2 will be released soon once I get all the clips recorded for it. But thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace!